Hello, my name's Pat McElvogue, Regional Industrial Officer for Unite the Union. We lead responsibilities for Unite members within Abellio Scotrail. Today, 30th of March, we have to give you a report back on the collapse of the wage talks with Abellio Scotrail. But before I give that report, I want to thank our members within Abellio Scotrail for their patience in the last year, but also to give recognition to our members for the work that they have done in the last year in providing and maintaining the trains for a service for the key workers within the NHS to get to their work, to fight this pandemic that we're all faced with. Without for the efforts of our members within Abellio Scotrail, without for the work and putting themselves and their families at risk and at the forefront and the vanguard of the fight against this horrible pandemic that we're faced with. I want to give recognition for the patience and the contribution and give recognition to our members within Scotrail for the work that they have done in the last year. Unfortunately, their employer does not recognise that contribution of keeping key workers at their work, providing that service for Scotland's railways. And that's been demonstrated, unfortunately, today with the complete disregard and disrespect of which Abellio Scotrail directors have treated their employees and our members with the refusal to table a meaningful response to the 2020 pay submission, 2020, not 2021, 2020, and also a refusal to table an offer or enter talks around the 2021 pay submission that Unite has put in. It's an absolute slap in the face for key workers and Unite members within Abellio Scotrail, and I'm really disappointed and frustrated to give you this report back today. As you know, within 2020, during the pandemic, wage talks with Scotrail were suspended. Scotrail also took the measure of cancelling the rest day working agreement within engineering grades in April 2020, despite an offer from Unite and the other 4 trade unions for that rest day working agreement to continue. But Abellio Scotrail took the unilateral decision to cancel that agreement at the end of April in 2020. We offered an extension during the pandemic, and that was refused, with Abellio Scotrail claiming that they had no authority from Transport Scotland under the emergency measures agreement on running the railway and the significant support from the Scottish Government to run the railway to extend that agreement. Unite accepted that position for them, but then Abellio Scotrail contradicted that position by extending at the turn of the year the drivers' rest day working agreement, which was a clear contradiction in what they had told us earlier in regards that they had no authority from the authority of Transport Scotland, as they framed it, to make any further agreements in regards to rest day working. In regards to the 2020 pay submission, we put forward innovative solutions to that. We believe that were cost neutral, that could have been easily facilitated. One is such as the flexibility of loo days, giving greater flexibility, recognising the work-life balance that engineering members don't have compared to other colleagues because of the amount of antisocial shifts that engineering Unite members undertake on behalf of Abellio Scotrail. None of these were explored. None of these were looked at to provide a remedy. We sought remedy because Abellio Scotrail claimed that Transport Scotland would not give them authority. We engaged with Scottish Government and Transport Scotland and gained authority from them for Abellio Scotrail to engage with us. We put forward, as requested, numerous cost-saving proposals that going forward would give efficiency benefits to Abellio Scotrail and help finance an offer for the 2020 pay submission. Some of those were, for Unite's point of view, in regards to a technology agreement, where the utilisation of modern technologies would help facilitate information management systems. We proposed that we brokered driving agreements to give greater flexibility across the depots for driving and the operation of plants or plant equipment of which there was no agreement upon. We asked for greater flexibility of leave days, as I said earlier, due to the antisocial shifts and the splitting of leave days to give better work-life balance to Unite members. We even offered that rather than a consolidated rise for 2020, even an ex gratia payment could be made to give recognition to the contribution that Unite members had made within Abellio Scotrail in 2020 of being on the front line in the fight against the pandemic and providing a service for key workers to get to their work. All of this was refused. Today, Abellio Scotrail, after 4 meetings with joint trade unions, that probably amounts to about 20 hours of talks, come back, and the suggestions that we put forward, along with sister trade unions that put other suggestions forward to try and find a remedy to 2020 pay award, were refused and rejected, with the words of, we're not in a position to make an offer. Any offer that we could make would be in the tens of pounds. That is the value of which Abellio Scotrail have deemed appropriate for the contribution and the work of Unite members within Abellio Scotrail in the year 2020 at the vanguard of a fight of a global pandemic, providing a key service for Scotland's railways. That's how your employer values you. Abellio Scotrail also confirmed today, when we asked yet again we asked, what is the management fee that Abellio Scotrail will receive from the Scottish Government for operating the EMA? Months we have asked for that number. Months. Yet again today, Abellio Scotrail refused to avail what that management fee would be. They refused. In good faith, we asked for that to be availed so that we could understand the employer's ability to pay, understand the circumstance. We recognise that we're in the middle of a global pandemic. We recognise that revenue will be down in the railways. We recognise that there's millions of pounds of Scottish Government subsidy coming to the railway. But we believe it's right, fit and proper for Abellio to avail how much money they're taking for the Scottish taxpayer and their management fee. They refused again today to avail what that is. Now, we believe that's going to be 2%, which may well be up to £14 million during the pandemic that Abellio have taken for themselves. Circa £1 million per month, and we will need to wait until May for that to be confirmed when it's available to the Scottish Government. It's totally outrageous and it's unacceptable that they won't avail what that management fee is, but at the same time they say that they can't afford to give any remedy to any element of Unite's 2020 pay submission, or indeed, our anniversary for the 2021 award is now upon us, and they are refusing to make any offer worth consideration for our members. It is an appalling situation. It is an appalling and disgraceful way to treat key workers. But that is how Abellio value their staff. It is how Abellio are giving recognition to our members. And that's why we've been forced to consult with our members around a potential industrial action ballot in furtherance of the 2020 pay award and the 2021 pay award, where we're asking our members, are they willing to take part in an industrial action ballot with 2 questions? Are you willing to take part in an industrial action ballot and possible strike action? And we're looking for a yes to that question. Are you willing to take part in an industrial action ballot and for action short of strike? And the answer is yes, that we are looking for in that ballot. And we are looking for that mandate for a positive yes in that consultative ballot to send a clear message to Abellio Scotrail directors and to Transport Scotland and to the Scottish Government that Unite members deserve better. They need better recognition for the contributions that they've made in the fight of a pandemic, keeping Scotland's railway going and keeping key workers and my brothers and sisters in the NHS at their work. Scotrail, Abellio, Unite members need that recognition. It needs to be valued. That's why we're asking our members to vote yes to both questions in the consultative ballot, that we have been left with no option but to commence this week. The ballot will conclude on the 12th of April, and we'd ask you to return that as soon as possible. If you have not received a ballot paper by post, please contact your local Unite workplace representatives, who will arrange for another ballot paper to be sent out. Again, we are deeply disappointed to have to give you this report, but we've been left with no option but to consult with our members on Abellio's refusal to do that. Now, the joint trade unions, the 4 trade unions within Scotrail, have written to Transport Scotland today, and we have released a joint statement of which I will read out for your reference. Abellio Scotrail offered a self-financing pay rise of tens of pounds to RMT, TSSA, Unite and ASLEF members. Abellio Scotrail have continually failed to engage in any productive way with the trade unions. Abellio have claimed that they are under instruction from the Scottish Government not to award any pay rise to rail workers. The Scottish Government are actively interfering in collective bargaining. This is a slap in the face for rail workers who have worked through the pandemic. At a time when rail workers are receiving no reward for their hard work, the Scottish Government have awarded Abellio up to £14 million in management fees. The rail workers, our key essential workers, are absolutely disgusted by the actions of the Scottish Government, and we will be consulting our members over industrial action. The trade unions have been forced into this action and remain available for meaningful discussions, but remind Scottish voters that some in the government talk about standing up for Scottish workers, whilst abandoning key workers such as rail workers. And it gives us no joy or satisfaction to have to bring you this message today. But unfortunately, robust representation and patience thus far have paid no dividends for our members within Abellio Scotrail. And that's why, again, we've been forced to consultatively ballot, and we ask you to vote yes to both questions in your consultative ballot.